Hey, what's up YouTube? Australian Prison Stories here. Guys, before I get into today's video, I want to encourage everyone out there to please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell on all so you get notified every time I drop a video, and please comment and share and all that good stuff. I would greatly appreciate it, and it will go a long way, to helping my channel, here on Australian Prison Stories, I talk about everything pertaining to lockup, doing time here in Sydney, Australia, because I'm from Sydney, Australia. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name's Adam. Like I said, I'm from Sydney, Australia. You know what I mean? And if you're interested in learning about what prison is like here in Sydney, Australia, you know what I mean? And you want some advice and you want to know what to do, because you know someone that's going to prison here in Sydney, Australia, well then, this video is for you, and, the other videos that I download. So let's get into this, and today I'm going to be talking about prison hustles. I'm going to be talking about prison hustles because, for the most part, like every single guy's got a hustle, you know what I mean? We all got to hustle, of what we do in prison in order to survive, because there is guys in prison, such as myself, who hasn't got no family, got bloody no one. So, you know what I mean? We got to rely on ourselves. It's up to us. It's up to us as an individual to, look after ourselves and to support ourselves. You know what I mean? So, first I'll talk about like my hustle, what I did. And then, I'll get to explaining the other type of hustles. You know what I mean? So, my hustle, the main hustle that I had to support myself in prison, right, was selling weed. I was selling weed, right, selling marijuana in there in prison, right. That was my main hustle that I made a lot of money, in doing so, and my second hustle, you know what I mean? It wasn't like an everyday thing. It was probably like, a few days a week I used to do it. I used to bloody be the wing cook. You know what I mean? I used to bloody cook meals for guys. You know what I mean? So, for example, like, say if someone came up to me and they wanted me to cook, say, well, it's not called soups like it is in America. Here it's called noodles. You know what I mean? 2-minute noodles. So if a guy comes up to me and goes, oh, look, I want to have a pasta dish. Can you cook me this pasta dish? And that's what we, noodles, it's pasta. You know what I mean? And what we do is we like, some guys will put cabanossi and capsicum. And you see, here in Sydney, Australia, and all states in Australia, it's not called peppers, right? It's not called red pepper or, you know what I mean, green pepper, yellow pepper. It's called bloody capsicums. That's what we call them, not peppers. It's called capsicum, right? So they'll put that in there, and then, he'll say, oh, how much are you going to charge me? You know what I mean? For you to prepare this meal and to bloody cook it for me, okay? So I'll turn around and say, brother, I'll do this for you for $5. You know what I mean? And he'll pay me, right? There's like a couple of ways that, I used to get paid, like you can either buy me stuff from the buyer, which is the canteen, you know what I mean? But we don't call it, like commissary, like, you guys over there in America do. We call it buy-up, you know what I mean? We'll go into the canteen, and he'll buy me $5 worth of stuff, you know what I mean? And but what I used to do, instead of getting $5 worth of bloody, just crap, you know what I mean? I used to always get $5 worth of toiletries. $5 worth of toiletries, because you can never, ever, ever have too much, too many toiletries in prison. You can, you know what I mean? It's always good to be stocked up on bloody toiletries and have a good supply of that, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to be using the bloody prison issue soap, you know what I mean, and the toothpaste and all that sort of shit, because it's fucking nasty. You know what I mean? It's dead set nasty, fam. But You know, and the other way that I used to get paid, you know what I mean, is in drugs. You know what I mean? They'll give me some heroin. They'll give me some heroin or some cocaine. You know what I mean? That's the other way. You know, and you see, with my pot hustle, with me selling weed, right? What I used to do, fam, I used to sell, right? Like for example, like a match head. You got matches and that match head off the match, right? I'll sell that amount of weed, right? And I will sell that for $20, right? I'll sell that for $20. You know what I mean? And what guys used to do, like say for example, I used to say, right, okay, I want you to get me $10 worth of toiletries, and then I'll get with the other $10. I'll get some noodles, you know what I mean, some cabanossi, some cheese, some capsicums, stuff like that. Never chocolates and chips and sodas. I never used to buy that crap in prison. You know what I mean? Because it's fucking prison, right? I mean, you get really unhealthy in there as it is, so you don't need to be making that shit worse by eating junk food. So that's the other way. That I used to get paid for my hustle. I'm selling weed. A lot of other guys will have hustles as to where he's a tattoo artist, right? He'll do tattoos. You know what I mean? He'll do tattoos, and a lot of the guys in prison that did tattoos, right, as a bloody hustle, right? What he used to do, because a lot of it's quite funny, right, that you get a lot of these guys in prison who do tattoos, right, but they can't draw. They can't draw to save their freaking life. You know what I mean? And you would think, someone, doing tattoos, naturally you would think that person is good at drawing, correct? You know what I mean? But nah, they'll go to some other dude because, in prison there's a lot of talented guys in there. There's a lot of talented guys in there who've got, a lot of artistic skills and, good with their hands at, making things. It's crazy, wasting this talent. So they'll go to this guy who's, very, very good artistic wise, has got artistic talent, and they'll get him to draw something. Like, for example, if the guy that he's doing a tattoo on, right, doing a tattoo for, if that guy wanted, say, a dragon, right, he wanted a dragon, he'll go to this dude with the artistic skills and say, look, I need you to draw me up a dope fire fucking picture of a dragon. You know what I mean? And that's how he'll do his tattoos, right? And then he, make arrangements with that dude to pay him whatever for the bloody for the for the picture of the dragon, right? And you see, we don't have stamps like in America. A lot of prisons there, you can buy stamps, book of stamps, and that is the main currency there, right? But we never used to have that here. And you see, back when I was going to prison, right now, it was fucking. We could smoke. We could smoke. We could have tobacco in there, right? So tobacco was a main currency, and weed was a second, right? The second most used currency that to buy shit in prison. You know what I mean? So you'll get guys in there, paying, a packet of tobacco for certain shit. You know what I mean? So you've got the weed guy, which is me. You got the weed guy, then you got the cook, which is also me, and some other dudes. And then you've got the tattoo man, the guy doing tattoos, and then you've got the guy with the artistic skills, the guy that's the drawer. You know what I mean? You've got him, and then there's like dudes in there who'll do people's laundry. You know what I mean? He'll do guys' laundry. You know what I mean? And that's another prison hustle. You know what I mean? And then you've got guys, who will clean. He will clean people's cells. You know what I mean? For that's a hustle, another hustle, to get by in prison. And when I say like cleaning people's cells and doing people's laundry, it's no extortion involved. You know what I mean? It's not forced upon that dude. They make a business arrangement, a business agreement. You know what I mean? And the other thing is too, you know, every single hustle, right, that I personally did, you know what I mean? I never ever did it until I got payment. I got payment first, and then once I was paid, you know what I mean, and that was all correct and it was the right amount, right, then I would go ahead and fulfill my agreement and to do that, you know, and to fulfill my agreement, like, you know, with a pot cook, whatever, you know. And that's what I used to do all the time because, you know, there is a lot of fucking grimy, you know, grimy inmates in prison, and there's a lot of snakes in prison, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of fights used to start over, you know, various hustles because guys will make a promise with someone to do something and, you know, promise to pay them. They'll do, you know, do that hustle and then they won't get paid. You know what I mean? And a lot of shit starts over that. That's why you got to get fucking paid first before you do anything, right? So, and then you've got guys, right? Then you've got guys, you know, who will carry people's buy-up back from the buy-up, you know what I mean? Carry it from the buy-up and back to the wing, you know what I mean? You'll get guys carrying that. And also you've got guys in there who have got hustles, right, that carry shanks, that carry the shanks, that carry the drugs, you know what I mean? And don't think I'm giving the game away because I'm not. You know what I mean? They know this. You know what I mean? The screws, well, that's what we call them. They're screws here. We don't call them COs. They know about all this. You know what I mean? So I ain't telling nothing that no one's ever fucking heard before or know about. You know what I mean? And you see, and you've got that, right? And then you've also got guys who who are the watchers, the lookouts, right? We call them here keep 'em cocky, right? If we say to someone, if I'm going into cell, right, to fucking smoke some pot or do a pot deal or fucking whatever, you know, I'll say to one of the guys that I knock around with in prison, keep cocky, you know what I mean? And that means that dude standing outside the cell, you know, keeping a lookout. And when the screws come in, you know what I mean, he will, not only him, but the guys downstairs in the wing itself, you know, everyone will start yelling out, red light, red light. You know, and when the screw walks in, everyone yells out, red light, red light. And then everyone stops what they're doing, quickly fucking put away whatever they fucking got, you know what I mean? And that's how it is here, you know what I mean? And that guy who's keeping cocky, he'll always get a cut, you know what I mean? A little bit of weed or something, you know what I mean? And then, you know, like I've also seen, you know, in prisons that I've been to, like mainly Goulburn, you know, there was a couple of guys whose hustle was being a spotter, you know what I mean? Being a spotter as to where when the dude's on the weight pile and he's doing weights, right? He's doing weights on the fucking weight pile. You got a spotter there, you know what I mean? And so when he's like sees he's struggling or whatever, he helps him to fucking lift the weight up, right? That's another hustle, you know what I mean? Guys fucking make a bit of cash doing that, you know what I mean? And another hustle, and this is very common in America, is the store man, right? Is the store man, as to where, you know what I mean, that dude, you know, like he's got everything in his box, you know what I mean? And say if you walk up there and I'll call it soups, you know what I mean? Because all you guys know that. When I say soups, you know, when I say noodles, it probably gets you confused, so I'll say soups. So say you go to the store, man, okay, and say you borrow 2 soups, right? You got to pay, you know, most of the time, you know, it's 3 soups back. You know what I mean? If it's a store man who's, you know, fucking a rip-off cunt, because there's a lot of them in there too, you know, he'll expect fucking 4 soups back, you know what I mean? Or if you get, you know, 2 packets of chips, you know what I mean, it's fucking 3 fucking packets back. And like me, a couple of times, you know, only twice I've had to do this, go to the store man and fucking get some soap because I needed some more soap. And this was very, very rare, you know, because I was always stocked up, you know what I mean? This shit only happened when we went on lockdown and shit like that, you know? So I used to go and borrow 2 bars of soaps, which is probably about that big of a bar of soap, right? And but because it's me, I only had to pay, exactly that back, 2 bars of soap. You know what I mean? Because it was me. You know what I mean? So you'll get the store man. You know what I mean? You'll have a guy who's a store man as a hustle. And we also have jail lawyers. You know what I mean? Jail lawyers or in-house lawyers. It's not called jailhouse lawyers. We call them in-house lawyers here. You know what I mean? So you've got a guy who's an in-house lawyer giving fucking, legal advice on people's cases and shit like that. Me personally, I think that's fucking stupid. Going to fucking see some dude that they don't know from a bar of soap, you know what I mean, and fucking telling him about all about his case and letting him fucking read everything and shit like that. And that's it, no. That's just no. That's just fucked up, you know what I mean? A lot of shit starts from that, you know what I mean? And so that's one thing that I would never ever do. And people that I knock around with, I tell them stay away from the fucking in-house lawyer. You don't want to get involved in that shit. You know what I mean? And so they're the main hustles. They're the main hustles here that we have in our prisons, fam. Okay, and you know what? You know what I'm going to start calling you guys? The APS Army, because we are. I've got 242